Okay. I don't know if it can be done.
You just did it.
Well, so we're live on YouTube. It's just us. Nobody's come into the waiting room, right?
Right?
It's 11:59. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make myself invisible again. So, and I'm going to share the music again and the picture for about 5 minutes.
If she can sign on.
Say it again.
Do you want me to ask Cindy if she can sign on?
Oh, just to see if it works? I'm sure it'll work. I can't see it though when I'm sharing screen.
Okay.
I can see you. I have like the gallery strip. So
Yeah.
you can kind of give me a thumbs up or tell me how many people are coming in. And I guess if you give me a signal to start, I mean, I'm happy to play that song. Here we go, Susan Birch.
Oh.
All right, let me stop my video. She did tell me she was coming, so it'll be a small but mighty group. I'm going to share my screen, and you're in charge. And just at 12:05, I guess, give me a thumbs up.
Hi, Susan. Hello, Susan.
Yeah. She called me yesterday and we went over all that. So I just get there at 9:30, right? Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you everyone for coming, joining me in my kitchen this morning virtually. I just want to let everyone know that we are live streaming on YouTube. If you don't want, you can set your set your Zoom to speaker view, those of you who are in the Zoom room, or turn off your camera, your video, if you don't want to be seen on YouTube. And in just one moment, we'll get started. It's good to see all of you, even on a sad day.
Yes, you too. I got your email yesterday, but I had a hard time signing through your sukkah thing, but it doesn't matter whenever you do it. So thank you for asking.
Of course. Yeah, Susan's already skipped ahead from the eve of Rosh Hashanah next week to Sukkot, because we want to look forward to joyous things. So thanks for mentioning that. In a couple of weeks, some of you I sent a doodle poll just to find out what was a good time, but we'll be doing another one of these events, but in my sukkah on the back porch. Just going to make sure the Wi-Fi is boosted so that it'll reach the back porch, and we'll have refreshments virtually together. And
It won't be the same, but
it won't be the same. It won't be the same. All right, well, let's get started. I wanted to begin first by explaining this ritual of taking challah. So you can see over here that the camera is trained on a big piece of dough. It's a double bulk, a double load. And this is what taking challah means. It's a ritual that primarily women, Jewish women, have been performing for generations and generations. It's one of the commandments that is specifically to women. If you are baking challah and you are using a certain amount, or baking any kind of bread, and using a certain amount of flour by volume, I use 8 cups in my double load, and it's not quite enough by volume to warrant a blessing, but the ritual is performed without a blessing as well. So this is the ritual. Here we go, I'm gonna demonstrate it. We take a little piece of dough, roll it into a ball. The rabbis say it should be about the size of an olive, although some say a little larger, and set it aside. It's a little sticky. We set it aside as a remembrance to the sacrifices that were offered in the temple in Jerusalem, which was destroyed by the Romans in the year 70 CE, sending the Jewish people into exile. So we have been praying as Jews for the redemption and the rebuilding of the temple speedily in our days ever since the year 70. And there's a small section, if you've been to Jerusalem, you know there's a small section of the western retaining wall that still stands. It's called in Hebrew the Kotel, the wall. And there are some people who visit there and they place notes inside the cracks between the stones. And often that's what's written on the notes or prayers or things that we're asking for. And a lot of the times people will ask for healing on behalf of those who are ill, and place that note to God in between the cracks. There's this sense among the Jewish people that God hears our prayers when we are doing an act of remembrance of the temple when it was still standing. And so this, taking this piece of dough, which is set aside and not eaten, is a remembrance of the sacrifices that took place in the temple. And this moment when one is baking challah and separates the dough or takes challah that will be burnt and not eaten is also like the notes in the Western Wall. This is considered a moment that we say private prayers or take a moment of reflection and think about loved ones who are in need of healing. So when I realized that 9/11 was, the anniversary of 9/11 was on a Friday, and I knew that I would want to light a candle and remember where I was, not here in Atlanta, but out in East Cobb. I remember where I was, my whole family, all of our friends. I knew many people who worked in the towers and worked in Lower Manhattan. We'd only been here for about a year. And every year on 9/11, I have this, it's not a longing for Jerusalem, but a longing for New York and for the people that we left behind when we moved here. And even though Atlanta is my favorite adopted city, the anniversary of 9/11 always kind of gets me. And so when I realized that this was on a Friday morning and I was going to be making challah, and I knew that I would be remembering not only the temple in Jerusalem, not only the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, but also the destruction of the towers. And I thought about how we're in the midst of this pandemic and we all need healing. And so instead of making a private prayer, although I'll invite you to take a moment with me for a private reflection as I go ahead and put the dough in the oven and let it burn. We'll take a moment and we'll take a breath. And then I would like to say a mishaberach for all those who are in need of healing, body, spirit, mind, for whatever reasons. And we'll have a moment if you want to put names in the chat, or we're a small group, so you can unmute yourself and say the names. I'm just gonna step to the side. Okay, let's take a moment of silence. Would anyone like to add a name of someone who they're praying for?
Lois Birch.
Addison and Aaron Cody.
11.
A little louder, Lauren.
Elaine Levin.
Elaine Levin. Aharon Ben Yocheved. It's my dad. And Leah Bat Mindel. That's my mom. Thinking about them today. And David Ben Zelda Itta. Nishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah hu yivarech v'yirapeh et kol hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those who are sick, suffering, and dying. May their loved ones, caretakers, and advocates find comfort and strength. May the source of life give us strength to continue on day by day, one foot in front of the other, with our intention set on doing everything within our power to contribute to the process of global healing. May that healing come in whatever forms are most needed. And may we all be blessed with peace during this time of uncertainty. And let us say together, Amen.
Amen.
I also wanted to take a few moments this afternoon, to remember those who perished in the attacks on 9/11, the first responders who died rescuing survivors, and those who died later, soon after, especially from complications like smoke inhalation and other respiratory ailments, and also those who died in the aftermath years and years later. We also remember all those who have died in this year 2020. I'm laughing because I know we're not getting a reset button and we still have a few more months to go. We want to keep in mind those, and I know some of us in this room, in the Zoom room, know people who have died from COVID-19 and related illnesses. Many of us know healthcare workers who are risking their lives to take care of people who are sick. And keeping in mind all of the first responders, caregivers, and other essential workers, those who've lost their lives during this pandemic. Before we conclude with the Mourner's Kaddish, I wanted to share with you a poem. It's a kind of modern psalm that I wrote for this occasion. This is the weekend of Slichot, when we start saying prayers on Saturday night. Ashkenazi, Eastern European Jews say them on Saturday night. Sephardi Jews say them every morning, I think at dawn or before dawn. I like the European custom better. I'm a night owl. But I was working in this, taking this class, a spiritual poetry writing class. And it really opened me up. And one of the poems by Lee Young Lee that we read, called From Blossoms, inspired me to take a line from the Slichot prayers. That was the music that was playing earlier. Haneshama lach v'haguf shalach chus al amalach. We say, the soul is yours, the body is a gift that is yours. Please have mercy, have compassion and kindness on the works of your creation or the works of your hands. So this poem is called The Breath of Life. There are days we live as if death were nowhere in the background. And then there are days when death fills the forefront of our lives and we can only stare it down. Those days, I suck in the grief, hoping it contains a trace of oxygen. Praying when I exhale to expel death to the farthest corner of the earth where it cannot touch me. Every day, death is in the air we breathe, in the soul God breathed into the first human, in the spirit that hovers outside us and lives within us. Elohai, Haneshama lach. My God, the soul is yours, yet in this moment, the breath of life is mine. Let my lungs be the filter, turning grief into joy, turning death rattle into shofar blast with each breath. Let my eyes see death and life. Let my lips speak sorrow and joy. Let my spirit sing as it soars through the air with each breath. If it is your custom to stand for the Mourner's Kaddish, or if you're in a place that you can stand, I invite you to stand with me. I'm going to claim plausible deniability. I have no idea if people are joining us live streaming on YouTube, but I'm going to say that I'm saying Mourner's Kaddish for me personally. I'm glad that you're all here with me. And we may or may not have a minyan, but I'm really appreciative that we're here in community. If you'd like to add names into the chat or say the names aloud of the people that you are saying Kaddish for, please go ahead, and I'll share the screen with the text. All those who died in 9/11. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omel maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'richu. La'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram b'yalma v'yimru Amen. Shloma Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru
Amen.
Yaseh shalom,
Shalom.
Yaseh shalom,
Lo,
Shalom
Aleinu.
Aleinu Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh
As a
Shalom.
shalom.
Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. I wish you all a Shabbat of peace and a time of slichot, our prayers being answered. And may we all have the breath of life strong in us as we head into this high holiday season. Thank you all for being here. Shabbat
Thank
Shalom.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you, Rabbi.
doing this.
Shabbat Shalom. I'll see you tomorrow morning, right?
Yes.
Hey, can I ask you
Really?
something? Can I ask you a quickie? I asked Susan Levy,